I think I said polish the fretboard. We are not going to polish the fretboard. We're going to polish the frets. We're going to start here with 220. And we're just going to, you guys have probably seen me do this before, but if you haven't, these are fretboard erasers from StewMac. Again, not affiliated. We're just going to run this across. That one is quite dirty. Quite dirty. And what you're looking for here is just for it to feel smooth. You're not going to get it with this one, right? A 220 grit, but that's our end goal is that. All right. Unless you have a fret that has some really nasty stuff on it, you can just kind of hit them and move on. I don't even normally stay on this long, but this is the first time doing this on this. And again, I bought this guitar used, so the frets are quite dirty. I don't even need to put my my old man magnifiers on, and I can see this. And you'll get to a point where you can kind of feel it too. You can feel if it's gliding over smoothly or if it's, you know, a little rough. And that's what you're kind of looking for. Okay. When he's done. And that's what I'm going to do with the rest of them, going all the way down. But I wanted to show you at least one going all the way, just so you can kind of see like how I do it. When I come back, I just bought these recently. I don't know, a few months ago, the little micro mesh. And they only go down as low. See if I can do this, as 1500, right? And of course, these go down as low as 220, but I think they only go as high as 8,000. Yeah, 8,000. If you can read that, it's kind of pretty dirty. So what I do is I'll start with these and go up to usually all the way to 8,000 or maybe 4,000. And then I'll switch to these to finish it off and really just get a really nice polish. Something that I said in a previous video, steel wool. This works for this too. But if you're going to use this, you have got to mask off your fretboard. You will scratch the fretboard. I think this is either 3 or 4-0 wool. I still haven't looked. Sorry about that. I think it's 3 though. Triple knot steel wool. They will get nice and shiny. It will make them buttery smooth, and you won't have to do like this whole step process. But because you have to tape off the entire fretboard to make sure that you're not going to like nick into it. And if you got binding, I would also recommend doing the edges as well, like taping off the edges. It's a lot more, I don't want to say it's more time consuming. It's about the same. But the good news is you only have to hit it that one time. You hit it once and you're done. Then you just peel all the tape off and you're good to go. With these, it takes probably the same amount of time, but I don't have to do all the masking. Now, I think as I've seen other videos and stuff of people doing this, even StewMac, I think they use these things, fret protectors, or they still mask it off anyway, even using the erasers. I don't see the need in that, really. Because, I mean, we're going to clean the fretboard anyway. We're going to, I mean, I wouldn't take the eraser, especially like a 220, and I wouldn't dig into the wood, right? But I mean, you're staying on top of the frets, so really you shouldn't be really be contacting the wood. So just be careful. Now, if you want, especially since you're just starting out doing this, by all means, tape it off first or get these fretboard protector things. They're not expensive. I think they're on Amazon. You don't have to buy Stumac stuff. You can buy, because again, they're not paying me, so I can say that. Um, you can absolutely buy the cheaper stuff, as long as it's covering. So basically, it would go on kind of like this, and then a rubber band would wrap on this side, and then you come around the back side and pull that down. So that's its purpose. And then you're not gonna nick it. I don't know that I would use that with the steel wool because I feel like that as wide as the steel wool is, I mean, you could probably get in there, I guess. But yeah, I'd want to tape it off, honestly. If you go that method using the steel wool, you definitely want to tape off your pickups as well, because as soon as you get, sorry, leave my fingerprints on it. As soon as you get down close to the pickups, every time you move this across a fret, some of this, very, very fine steel comes off. And you will know that when you get down here, because you will see a metal dust collection on your pickup, especially your neck pickup. So tape off your pickup as well. Um, and tape off the edges, like I said, of the fretboard, as far as you can, and then just get after it. All right. Well, when we come back, I'll be ready to the polishing will be done of the frets, and then we'll be ready to condition the fretboard. All right. See you guys in a bit. I'm moving into the 800 now. Something I think I forgot to mention as I was kind of going through this, the way I like to do it, more so when you get down here and you can do across like 3 or 4 at a time, is I like to, hit these and then only move up one. So that way, I'm still, as I'm moving across, each fret wire is actually getting hit a lot more than you think, as opposed to doing like there and then there, right? So I'll do there, 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 and just so on and so forth. When you're down here, as you can see, I did kind of dig in a little bit. That'll come out when we do the conditioning. You probably can't see it, actually. It's probably pretty fine. But this is why, number one, you don't want to be pressing down on the ends, which is what I was doing. I can't believe I did that, but you want to press in the middle. And then also maybe even kind of go at like an angle like this. Keep in mind, it doesn't take a lot of pressure to do any of this. So don't think you have to like bear down with your soul and everything. Yeah, like that. Now these you kind of can't. I mean, you could, I guess, technically, but all right. All right, we are polished. Hopefully you guys can see that. It is a night and day difference as you run your fingers across it. Very smooth now. The fretboard's dirtier than hell, but the frets feel great. But the fret wire feels great. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take paper towel, just kind of wipe the frets. You don't want to use a paper towel that's got anything on it, because you don't. I realize that, but yeah, this is dry. Just old. We just want to, because we don't want it to gum up our rag as we come through with the fretboard conditioner. Okay. Keep in mind that you don't fretboard condition every type of wood. You don't need a fretboard condition maple. Paul Farrow, as I understand it, is another one. Even though it's a cousin of rosewood, it's in the rosewood family, but for whatever reason, it's closed pore or whatever. It supposedly doesn't have to be conditioned. Rosewood, real rosewood, and then ebony, which this is. I know it doesn't look it because people like associate ebony with just straight black, but this is what they call what is it, a Macassar ebony or something like that. So it's got, you could see like, well, maybe you could see it's got some black spotches here and there, but otherwise it almost kind of looks like rosewood with just some black stain drop throughout it. Let's see if I can bring that up to the camera. Oh yeah, I think that'll work out well. I think you can kind of see those. Oh, you can see how shiny those frets are too. Yeah, you can kind of see that black that I was talking about, almost kind of like a cheetah. But yeah, okay. Um, put those away. Get me a clean paper towel. Just a few drops. The stuff's pretty liquidy, so it goes on rather easy. Now this stuff does not get sticky like a lot of other stuff I've used in the past. Um, what used to happen is I would have to do the fretboard first, which actually worked out since I would tape it off at that point. I was using steel wool. Um, because the stuff would get sticky in there and it would gum up the fret wire that I had just polished. So I had to do the conditioning first. And then, of course, and then I had to come back, and it was kind of a balancing act. It took me a little bit to try to figure out what exactly and how exactly I was going to do all this, but um, I don't think that kind of dried out. We're going to come back the other way. So I'm not sure I got it the way that I wanted to. My light is your friend. And it could just be this thirsty too. Because yeah, it almost shouldn't dry out that quickly. Like it should take. I mean, I do have a fan going behind me to be fair. One because of zonitis, and two because it's not cold in here. It's not cool in here. It's not bad. I think it's like 72 degrees outside or somewhere, maybe 75. Okay, that's a little better. It didn't dry out quite as quick that time. Um, the stuff I'm using, I normally don't, or at least I haven't before, because like I said, I haven't been happy with other stuff I bought. But this is the hybrid, the lizard spit hybrid fretboard conditioner. So number one, it doesn't have any citrus. You don't really want to use citrus on your woods. I realize that sounds counterproductive because of lemon pledge, but yeah, you don't want to do that on guitar wood, on fretboard wood. Which I did not know for a number of years. I don't know that it really hurts anything. I'm not really sure. I just remember I read that somewhere a few years ago. I was like, oh, okay. Well, and let me change what I've been using then. But this stuff, I think, number one, like I said, it doesn't um, it doesn't get gummy or sticky or anything. I love that about it. So I really like that stuff. They have and actually, I got to give credit to Phil McKnight on that. He's actually the one that turned me on to it, and not necessarily the hybrid, but he was like, "Yeah, this lizard spit stuff," and I was like, "Oh, I'll give it a shot." Because actually, I think the one that he brought up in his video was the one that I had been using for a number of years, and he's like, "Yeah, it's not great. We moved away from it." I was like, "Oh, okay." All right, so now let's put this guy on. So I just pulled this out of a package, right? I've had this for probably, I don't know, at least 2 months, and I hadn't even unenveloped it yet because I know it was small and I didn't want to lose it, so I kept it like in the bigger envelope that it came in. But that is quite a lot of bubble wrap for and it looks like there's a pick in there too for just a saddle. All right, let me get a knife and get this out of here. Okay, so here's our new saddle. I'm not using the saddle because the saddle's chrome. I just needed this, and you can't, or at least it's very difficult to order just this piece. So I had to order, or I think it was the same price. I think that's what it was. I was like, well, I might as well do it the other way. That way, at least I have a saddle. And I've got, the height screws if I ever need those. So yeah, let's take this off of here. And we'll just put that in the part drawer. All right, so obviously first we're going to want to take the spring off, put our screw through the hole, spring back on, and then where is the Phillips head screwdriver? Please hold. All right, now we got trusty old screwdriver here. Now, of course, you want to put it so our Allen heads are facing up. Otherwise, we aren't going to be able to do anything as far as setting action. And it's that simple. She's in. I'm not going to try to really get it where it's supposed to be at the moment. I just want to get it on. And we'll figure the rest out when we do our setup. Okay. We are ready then. We are ready then to do some stringing. All right. So first we have our first and fourth strings. I'm not going to show you guys the brand because I don't want you to think that I trying to push that brand or anything like that. To be completely honest with you, it has been my experience, and I'll probably make a whole video on this. There really isn't a difference between the brands, to be honest with you. And I would even go as far as to say, I mean, I have used coated strings, uncoated strings. These are coated strings, actually. The only reason I bought coated strings is because I got them for a deal at the end of the year. Why am I gonna pay the same price for uncoated strings as I actually think it was $1 more or something like that. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll pay $1. But it has been my experience that, especially the way I play guitar, that is a factor. Let me throw that out there too, or not just play, sorry, but how often and how often I swap guitars, because I play guitar for about a week and then I swap to a different guitar. So because of that, I think I had to put my glasses on to even see this. All right, old glasses operate. Actually, probably more light than anything else. There we go. What's I saying? Old man brain operate. Oh, it was still too tight. That's why. Not a bad problem to have, other than the other way. All right, let's line that up. Make sure this is fully seated. I bought 10s here. I don't know if I had 10s on it before or 9s. No idea, because they were still the strings that were on it when I bought it. Tighten that up. Give her a little turn. And boom. All right. We're fully seated. Okay. You want to make sure you're fully seated. Otherwise, you start tuning this up and then, something pops back here, wherever it was bound, it lets go. And then now you got all this slack. Then you got to unwind it, undo it, pull it tight. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So make sure you're fully seated. Don't pull it fully tight, by the way. You don't want to and then tighten it down. You just want to pull it enough. That way, most of the slack is out. If you're using locking tuners, completely different story if you're using standard tuners. But yeah, so I'm going to put the rest of the strings on, and I'll be back. But to complete my thought, because apparently I can't string a guitar and talk at the same time, it's been my experience that it really doesn't matter between coded and non-coded, especially given how I play. I'll play a guitar for a week and then it'll sit up, for I got 14 guitars, moving through one a week, so roughly what, like 3.5 months, and then I'll pick it up again. So in my experience, because of that, coded versus uncoded really doesn't matter. They all pretty much went bad at the same time or close enough, anyhow, and I still ended up, swapping the, because not this guitar, but I had a couple other guitars that had coded strings on them, and the strings had a hard time staying in tune and stuff around the same time as the standard strings did. So I was like, well, why am I going to pay extra for coded strings, especially given what the difference is? Because typically it's about at least twice as much, and in some cases 3 times as much. By the way, that does include elixirs. Just throw that out there. However, some of the coded strings, especially elixirs, do cut down on string noise if you like to play with a lot of distortion. These aren't elixirs. I'm just saying that is a plus to that. If you are a person that has like very acidic sweat, then I have heard, I'm not one of those people, but I've heard a lot of those people that say, that's a big reason that they use like elixir strings and the coated strings, because the strings will last longer for them. They won't rust as quickly because of how acidic their sweat is. But outside of maybe those couple of things, to be honest with you, I just buy whatever's on sale and I throw it on. And whenever it's bad, I pull it off. So I am not brand loyal when it comes to strings. I haven't, like I said, I'll make a whole video about this because I did like this, more or less scientific test last year where I bought like $200 and something worth of strings of coded, non-coded, different brands, everything. And like I said, the result was, not to, give away the trick before I make the video, but all of them basically went about that at the same time for the most part. I was like, well, okay, then why am I going to pay $18 for a set of strings? So yeah, that is my experience. Your experience may vary. You are allowed to have your opinion, as right or wrong as it may be. All right. When we come back, I will have all the strings on. All right. We have got all the strings on. All thing left to do now, before starting the setup, is just to tune it up. What I like to do, you don't have to do this way. It's just my thought process. I'll tune this up and I'll let it sit overnight. That way the strings kind of settle a little bit. And I'll tune it up to actually be like fully forthcoming. I'll tune it up. I'll start at like the 12th fret or 9th fret, somewhere like that, somewhere in the middle of the fretboard, and I'll just bend the ever living hell out of it, and then tune up again, go through all the strings doing that, and then tune up again, and then set it down and let it sit overnight. And then tomorrow we'll do the actual setup. Yeah. All in all, not too bad. All right. See you guys later.